The paycheck stops on a Tuesday. After 30 or 40 years of your salary showing up, reliably, predictably, every 2 weeks, it just stops. And what you have left is a number sitting in an account. For a lot of people, that's the moment retirement gets scary. Not because they didn't save enough, but because a number is not a paycheck. A number just sits there. So the real question, isn't how much do I have? It's, how do I turn what I have into reliable money that shows up every single month for the rest of my life? Today, we're going to answer that question. We're going to walk through 3 specific strategies that retirees use to build what I call a paycheck replacement, a stream of income that replaces the salary you no longer receive. And we're going to look at one retiree story to see how these tools actually work in a real life. Stay with me through this one, because what you hear in the next 18 minutes could change how you think about your retirement money entirely. Here's something financial advisors see constantly, but rarely talk about publicly. People spend 30 years building a retirement nest egg. They're disciplined savers. They follow the plan. And then they retire, and they can't bring themselves to spend it. Not because they're cheap, because spending it feels like it's going down. And going down feels like losing. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Behaviorally, we feel the pain of losing a dollar twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining one. Which means that watching your account balance drop, even when that's exactly what it's supposed to do, triggers the same emotional response as a financial emergency. And here's where the paycheck psychology matters. When you were working, a paycheck felt like income arriving. Spending it felt normal, natural, because more was coming. In retirement, spending from a lump sum feels like subtraction, and subtraction feels like running out. The solution isn't willpower. The solution is structure. The solution is building a system that delivers income to you, so that spending feels like receiving, not losing. Strategy number 1 is the one most people have heard of, but few fully understand: the immediate annuity. Specifically, something called a single premium immediate annuity, or SPI for short. Here's how it works. You give an insurance company a lump sum, let's say $100,000. And in exchange, that insurance company promises to pay you a fixed monthly amount for the rest of your life. No matter how long you live. No market risk. No calculations required. A 65-year-old woman in 2025 might receive roughly $500 to $580 per month for every $100,000 she deposits, based on current payout rates. That's a guaranteed $6,000 to $7,000 per year from a single $100,000 deposit. Now, here are the things most people don't hear about SPIs. First, when you hand over that money, you no longer own it. It is gone. If you die in year 2, the insurance company keeps the balance, unless you paid extra for a return of premium rider, which reduces the monthly payout. Second, SPIs are not inflation protected by default. A $550 monthly payment today will still be $550 in 15 years, while prices keep climbing. Third, you cannot change your mind. There is no exit. So when does a SPI make sense? When you need a floor of guaranteed income, on top of Social Security, that covers your non-negotiable monthly expenses, no matter what the markets do. When that floor is covered, everything else in your portfolio can stay invested for growth. Strategy number 1 is the one most people have heard of, but few fully understand: the immediate annuity. Specifically, something called a single premium immediate annuity, or SPI for short. Here's how it works. You give an insurance company a lump sum, let's say $100,000. And in exchange, that insurance company promises to pay you a fixed monthly amount for the rest of your life. No matter how long you live. No market risk. No calculations required. A 65-year-old woman in 2025 might receive roughly $500 to $580 per month for every $100,000 she deposits, based on current payout rates. That's a guaranteed $6,000 to $7,000 per year from a single $100,000 deposit. Now, here are the things most people don't hear about SPIs. First, when you hand over that money, you no longer own it. It is gone. If you die in year 2, the insurance company keeps the balance, unless you paid extra for a return of premium rider, which reduces the monthly payout. Second, SPIs are not inflation protected by default. A $550 monthly payment today will still be $550 in 15 years, while prices keep climbing. Third, you cannot change your mind. There is no exit. So when does a SPI make sense? When you need a floor of guaranteed income, on top of Social Security, that covers your non-negotiable monthly expenses, no matter what the markets do. When that floor is covered, everything else in your portfolio can stay invested for growth. Let me introduce you to Evelyn. Evelyn is 67 years old. She retired 14 months ago after a 31-year career as a school administrator in a mid-sized city in the Midwest. She is sharp, organized, and not afraid of numbers. She retired with $820,000 across a traditional IRA and a taxable brokerage account. Her Social Security benefit is $2,200 a month. Her husband Gerald retired 2 years earlier and collects $1,900 a month. Together, their Social Security income is $4,100 per month. Their typical monthly spending, mortgage, utilities, groceries, healthcare, and modest travel, runs about $5,400 per month, which means they have a gap of $1,300 every single month that must come from their savings. At $1,300 a month over 25 years, they need to pull roughly $390,000 from their portfolio, minimum, before healthcare inflation and any large unexpected expenses. When Evelyn sat down with a financial planner for the first time after retirement, she was doing something many retirees do, pulling money out of her IRA whenever they needed it. No system, just withdrawals as required. The planner asked one question that changed everything for Evelyn. If the market dropped 40% tomorrow, which account would you pull from? Evelyn didn't have an answer. And that was the problem. We've talked about the problem and the first strategy. But the second strategy, the bond ladder, is the one that gives you the flexibility the annuity never can. And strategy 3 is where the real retirement income math gets interesting. Strategy number 2 is the bond ladder. And this one is for people who want predictable income without permanently surrendering control of their money. Here's the concept. You take a portion of your savings, let's say $150,000, and you purchase individual bonds or CDs that mature in sequence. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, all the way out to Year 10 or 15. Each year, one of those bonds matures and pays you back. You use that payment as your income for that year. No selling stocks in a down market. No guessing at interest rates. Just a predictable ladder of money arriving exactly when you need it. Let's say you build a 10-year bond ladder using U.S. Treasury bonds. You purchase roughly $15,000 worth of bonds at each rung, each one maturing in a different year. Each year, $15,000 shows up, predictably, regardless of what the stock market does. Meanwhile, the rest of your portfolio, the portion you didn't put into the ladder, stays invested in a diversified stock portfolio, continuing to grow. And here is the key advantage over an annuity. If you die in year 3, the remaining bonds belong to your estate. The money stays in your family. The bond ladder is not quite as simple as an annuity. You do need to manage it, or work with an advisor who can. And the income it produces is not guaranteed for life in the same way an annuity is. It is time-limited. But for retirees who want a bridge, predictable income for the first decade of retirement while their portfolio keeps growing, the bond ladder is one of the most powerful tools available. Strategy number 3 is the one that solves the problem the other two can't fully address on their own. What happens when the market has a bad year, or a bad decade, and you're still pulling money out? This is called the dynamic withdrawal rate system. And it works like this. Instead of committing to a fixed dollar withdrawal every year, say, for percent of your portfolio, you adjust your withdrawal based on how the portfolio is performing. In a good year, when the portfolio is up, you allow yourself to take a slightly higher withdrawal. You give yourself a raise, maybe 4.5% instead of 4%. In a bad year, when the portfolio is down significantly, you cut back. You tighten the belt temporarily. Maybe you drop to 3% for 12 months. The key word is temporarily, because the bond ladder we just discussed covers your fixed expenses regardless of what the market does. So the dynamic withdrawal from your investment portfolio is the discretionary layer: travel, gifts, upgrades, extras. When markets drop, you don't panic. You don't sell stocks at a loss to pay your electric bill. Your electric bill is covered by the bond ladder and Social Security. You simply reduce your discretionary withdrawals from the stock portfolio and let it recover. This is not a perfect system. No system is. But combined with an income floor from either an annuity or a bond ladder, it dramatically reduces the risk of running out of money, even in prolonged downturns. Research consistently shows that retirees who combine a guaranteed income floor with a dynamic withdrawal approach from their remaining portfolio tend to maintain significantly higher long-term portfolio balances than those who rely on a single fixed withdrawal rate alone. Let's go back to Evelyn. After her meeting with the financial planner, Evelyn built a 3-layer income plan. Layer 1, Social Security. She and Gerald bring in $4,100 a month. That covers the majority of their fixed expenses. Layer 2, a $150,000 bond ladder pulling from her traditional IRA. Each year for the next 10 years, $15,000, $1,250 a month, is delivered predictably, regardless of market conditions. This closes her monthly gap entirely. Layer 3, the remaining $670,000 in her portfolio stays invested in a diversified index fund allocation. She uses a dynamic withdrawal rate for discretionary spending, travel, grandchildren's events, home projects. In good market years, she and Gerald live a little more freely. In slower years, they pull back a bit. But they never have to make panic decisions. Their essentials are covered. Evelyn told me she slept better the first night after building that plan than she had in the 14 months since she retired. Not because the numbers magically changed, because she finally had a system. The money didn't change. The structure did. Before we close, here is the action plan. 3 steps you can take this week. Step 1. Calculate your monthly income gap. Add up all guaranteed income, Social Security, any pension, part-time work. Subtract your monthly spending. The number you get is what your savings must cover. Step 2. Decide which tool fits your gap. If your gap is small and you want simplicity and guaranteed income for life, look at SBIs. If you want flexibility and want your money to stay in the family, build a bond ladder. If you already have a covered floor and want to optimize your investment withdrawals, implement a dynamic withdrawal rate. Step 3. Don't do this in isolation. A fee-only financial planner who specializes in retirement income, not accumulation, but distribution, can help you model these options against your actual numbers. One conversation can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 25-year retirement. Now, the final warning. The biggest mistake retirees make is waiting. They tell themselves they'll figure out the income plan once they retire. But without a system in place at the moment you retire, or ideally before, you are likely to do one of 2 things. Either spend too freely, or spend too conservatively and miss the very retirement you worked your whole life to have. You built the nest egg. Now build the paycheck. Before you go, I have one question for you. Which of these 3 strategies fits your situation right now? The annuity, the bond ladder, or the dynamic withdrawal system? Drop it in the comments. Because the answer isn't the same for everyone, and your situation might help someone else who's reading through the same questions. If this gave you something useful, if you found yourself pausing and thinking about your own numbers, the best thing you can do is hit subscribe. We publish videos like this every week. No fluff, just practical retirement income and tax strategy for people who are 60 and beyond.